Growing up, my sisters and I loved the board game Life. If you've never played it, basically the whole point of the game is that you're role-playing a life and you have to make choices that'll leave you with the most money at the end of the game. Now, I don't think my sisters and I ever actually played a full game through because we were too busy coming up with names for our fake children and husbands and trying to get that doctor job card. But Pastor Zach's message in the series Stories to Live By this weekend really made me think about it. To catch you up, we've been going through some of the parables or stories that Jesus taught in the Bible. Parables are a tool meant to communicate a deeper lesson or understanding through a simple illustration, and oftentimes had a surprise ending that would leave the audience thinking. To listen to this past weekend's message, you can check it out on Meck's YouTube or on the Meck App. Pastor Zach explored the parable of the talents, which tells of 3 servants who are in charge of their master's money while he's gone. 2 of the servants do it well, and the 3rd servant doesn't. And in our previous Devos, we talked about how, like the servants, we're simply managers of God's assets. So why did this remind me of the game of life? Well, Pastor Zach said something that stuck out. It all goes back in the box. What does that mean? He shared this quote to give some context, and it's from John Ortberg and says this.
He says, you don't get to keep any of the tokens. You don't get to keep even one chip or one game card. In the end, all the spoils of the game just add up to nothing. In the same way, winning the game of life on earth is just a temporary victory.
All the arguments my sisters and I would have over pieces or roles or names in the board game Life were forgotten the moment everything was put back in the box. Winning the role we wanted or the number of kids didn't dictate our worth and identity. It's true, in real life, it all goes back in the box. So what's the point? We can often think of real life like the board game, trying to accumulate as much money or possessions or titles as possible before it's over to prove we somehow won at life. But what if life is about so much more than that? What if it's about faithfulness? Being faithful to God with our entire life and living with a mindset focused on eternity. I love this verse from the book of Matthew in the Bible, one of the 4 biographies of Jesus' life. This verse comes from a sermon that Jesus gave to an enormous crowd of people, and it says, "Do not gather for yourselves riches on earth. Moths and rats can destroy them. Thieves can break in and steal them. Instead, gather for yourselves riches in heaven. There, moths and rats do not destroy them. There, thieves do not break in and steal them. Your heart will be where your treasures are." We're reminded that here on earth, anything we try to gather up as riches or treasures can be destroyed or stolen from us, but our faithfulness to God can never be taken. Don't play life like it's a game. Live with eternity in mind.